Listen to me very carefully. Every morning you wake up, the alarm clock goes off, and the first thing that happens is not the sun rising, it's not your body stretching, it's your mind starting to talk. Your mind says, hit snooze, 5 more minutes. You deserve a break. You'll start tomorrow. And right there, family, before you've even stepped out of bed, before you've brushed your teeth, before you've said good morning to anybody, you're already in a fight. See, some of you think the battlefield is your job. You think the battlefield is your bank account. You think the battlefield is your haters. No, the real battlefield is your mind. Because if you lose in your mind, you've already lost in your life. If you wake up defeated, you're going to walk through the day defeated. If you let negative thoughts win in the morning, they're going to run your afternoon and they're going to own your night. Let me break it down. The enemy is inside. You keep blaming your boss. You keep blaming the government. You keep blaming your family, your parents, your environment. But the truth is, it's not out there. It's in here. Your mind is the enemy when you don't control it. It tells you lies. It tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. It tells you that your dream is too big, your obstacles are too heavy, your resources are too small. But here's the thing. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept every thought that knocks on the door of your brain. Some of you need to learn how to say, no thanks, not today. You're not your thoughts. You're the master of your thoughts. And if you can control what goes on in your head, you can change everything in your life. The voice of weakness vs. the voice of strength right now, you've got 2 voices competing inside of you. One is the voice of weakness. The other is the voice of strength. The voice of weakness says, stay in bed, skip the gym, quit when it gets hard. Why try? You're going to fail anyway. But the voice of strength says, get up, push through, keep grinding. Greatness is on the other side of pain. The question is, which one are you listening to? Because whichever voice you obey will shape your destiny. The horse and the rider, let me give you an image. Picture a wild horse running loose. It's strong, powerful, fast. But it's dangerous because it has no control. That horse is your mind when it's undisciplined. It runs wild. It drags you into fear. It pulls you into distraction. It tramples over your dreams. But put a rider on that horse, train it, guide it, discipline it, and suddenly that wild power becomes a weapon. It becomes transportation, speed, victory. Your mind is the same way. Uncontrolled, it will destroy you. Controlled, it will take you anywhere you want to go. Stories of the mind. Let me bring it home with a real example. Think about Thomas Edison. This man failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. Do you realize how easy it would have been for his mind to say, quit? Do you realize how easy it would have been to believe this is impossible? But he controlled his mind. He flipped the script. When reporters asked, how do you feel about failing 1,000 times? Edison said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I discovered 1,000 ways that don't work. That's control. That's mental mastery. Now contrast that with the average person. One rejection, one setback, one failure, and they're done. They fold, they quit. Not because the dream was impossible, but because their mind was weak. Your mind shapes your reality. Listen to me. Your life is nothing more than the reflection of your thoughts. What you constantly think about, you eventually become. If you think poor, you live poor. If you think weak, you act weak. If you think fear, you live in chains. But if you think strong, you act strong. If you think abundance, you attract abundance. If you think victory, you walk like a champion. You don't live according to your circumstances. You live according to your mindset. That's why 2 people can grow up in the same neighborhood, with the same obstacles, the same poverty, the same struggle. One of them ends up stuck. The other ends up successful. What's the difference? Same environment, but a different mindset. The call to wake up, I need you to understand something. This is urgent. You don't have time to let your mind run loose anymore. You don't have time to keep listening to negative self-talk. You don't have time to let fear and doubt take the wheel. Because every day you don't control your mind. You're wasting opportunities. You're letting blessings slip through your fingers. You're giving your dream away to weakness. So today, right now, I'm asking you to wake up and realize the real enemy is not outside of you. The real enemy is the way you think. And the real victory is not beating the world. It's beating yourself. Family, listen, before you can conquer the mountain, you must conquer your mind. Before you can change your situation, you must change your thoughts. Before you can step into greatness, you must first step into control. The battlefield is in your head. And if you win there, you win everywhere. Listen to me. Too many of you are slaves to your own mind. Your mind says, quit, and you quit. Your mind says, the junk, and you eat it. Your mind says, scroll for 2 hours, and you obey like a servant. But hear me, you were never created to be a slave to your thoughts. You were created to be the master of them. You were created to command your mind, not to be commanded by it. The mind is a terrible boss. Imagine if your boss at work told you, hey, come in late every day. Don't try too hard. Leave your projects half finished. You get fired in a week, right? But your mind is doing the exact same thing. It's telling you, take it easy. Don't push. Don't dream too big. And you're obeying it. You wouldn't tolerate a lazy boss. So why are you tolerating a lazy mind? Who's in control? Let's get real. Who's in charge? Your mind or you? Because right now, some of you are letting your feelings run your life. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like studying. I don't feel like grinding. And you're letting feelings dictate your destiny. Family, feelings are temporary. They change with the weather, but purpose is permanent. When you let your mind be the boss, your life becomes unstable, inconsistent, weak. But when you step up and say, I control my mind, not the other way around, that's when you find freedom. Example, the prisoner who became free. Let me tell you about Viktor Frankl. This man was locked up in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. They took his clothes, they took his freedom, they starved him, they beat him. But you know what they could never take? His mind. He said, the last of human freedoms is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Think about that. He was in prison, but he was free because he refused to let anyone else control his mind. And here you are, free on the outside, but a prisoner in your own head. Not because chains are on your wrists, but because chains are on your thoughts. It's time to break free. Slave habits, master habits. Let's compare a slave to the mind says, I'll do it tomorrow. It's too hard. What's the point? A master of the mind says, I'll do it now. I love the challenge. Every step counts. A slave to the mind is reactive. They wait for things to happen. A master of the mind is proactive. They make things happen. A slave to the mind lives in fear. A master of the mind lives in faith. Flipping the script, you've got to reprogram your brain. When your mind says, I can't, you respond, yes, I can. When your mind says, it's impossible, you respond, all things are possible. When your mind says, stop, you respond, just one more rep. That's how you flip the script. That's how you rewire your mental software. Every time you override your mind, you're teaching it who's boss. And the more you practice, the stronger you become. Discipline, the key to mastery, discipline, is what separates slaves from masters. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I'm doing it anyway. Discipline says, my mind doesn't run me. I run my mind. Do you think Navy SEALs feel like waking up at 4 a.m. to train in the freezing ocean? Do you think athletes feel like pushing through hours of practice every single day? No. Their bodies scream stop. Their minds whisper quit. But they've trained themselves to obey discipline, not feelings. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. And the only way to cross that bridge is to control your mind. A story from the grind: when I was homeless, sleeping in abandoned buildings, my mind told me, give up. This is too much. You'll never get out. Every single night, that voice got louder. But I made a choice. I refused to let that voice be the final word. I told myself, this is temporary. This is not who I am. This is not where I'm staying. And family, if I had listened to the voice of weakness, I'd still be there. But because I chose to be the master of my mind, not the slave, I climbed out of that pit. You can do the same. Declaration of mastery. So today, I want you to declare, I am not a slave to laziness. I am not a slave to fear. I am not a slave to negativity. I am the master of my mind. I choose my thoughts. I command my focus. I control my destiny. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes your reality. Because once you stop being a slave and start being the master, there's nothing in this world that can hold you back. Now let's talk about something most of you run from. Pain. Your mind hates pain. Your mind is wired to avoid discomfort. The second things get hard, your mind screams, stop, retreat. Go back to comfort. And that's why most people lose. Because they think pain is the enemy. But I came to tell you, pain is your personal trainer. Pain builds you. Think about the gym. When you lift weights, your muscles tear. It hurts. But that tearing is exactly what makes them grow back stronger. Life is the same way. Struggle, setbacks, rejection, heartbreak, those things hurt. But if you control your mind, you don't run from the pain. You embrace it. You learn from it. You let it make you stronger. Stop seeing pain as punishment. Start seeing pain as preparation. The champion's mindset, Muhammad Ali said, I hated every minute of training, but I told myself, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Do you hear that? He didn't let his feelings decide. His feelings said, I hate this. But his controlled mind said, push through. And because he chose to suffer now, he got to celebrate forever. That's the difference between average and elite. Average people let pain stop them. Champions let pain shape them. Pain as proof, listen, pain is proof that you're growing. If it's easy, it's not changing you. If it's comfortable, it's not challenging you. If it's painless, it's not building you. So the next time life hurts, instead of quitting, tell yourself, this pain is proof I'm on the right track. This pain is proof I'm becoming stronger. This pain is proof I'm leveling up. That's how you flip pain into power. Story of a survivor. There was a woman who lost everything. Her job, her house, her family broke apart. She hit rock bottom. Every day her mind told her, this is it. You're finished. But instead of listening, she controlled her mind. She said, this pain is not the end of me. This pain is going to build a new me. She went back to school, rebuilt her career, and now she's mentoring others. The same pain that almost destroyed her became the foundation that built her. Your pain, your power. So don't curse your pain. Don't run from your pain. Don't waste your pain. Control your mind and turn it into power. Because pain will either break you or it will make you. The choice is yours. Now let's get into the superpower that separates winners from losers. Focus. Family, your mind can only go in one direction at a time. But the problem is, most of you are trying to go in 10 different directions. You're distracted. Your attention is scattered. And a scattered mind is a powerless mind. The thief of distraction is stealing your destiny. Every time you pick up your phone to scroll, that's 5 minutes gone. Then 10, then an hour, then a whole day. And your dream still sitting there waiting on you. Stop letting Instagram own your mind. Stop letting TikTok raise your attention span. Stop letting Netflix steal your nights. Every second you give to distraction is a second stolen from your greatness. The champions focus. Look at Kobe Bryant. Mamba mentality. He was obsessed with the game. He studied film for hours when others were partying. He was in the gym before sunrise when others were still asleep. That's focus. Look at Steve Jobs. He wasn't distracted by 100 ideas. He was obsessed with one vision, changing the world through technology. That focus turned Apple into an empire. When your mind is scattered, your results are scattered. When your mind is focused, your results are powerful. How to control focus? Cut the noise. Limit distractions. Turn off notifications. Create a sacred space for work. Single task. Stop juggling 5 things. Lock in on one. Finish it. Then move on. Set targets. Tell your mind exactly what the mission is today. If your mind doesn't have a target, it will wander. Control your focus and you control your future. Family, your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant grows. And every single day, seeds are being thrown into your garden through music, through TV, through friends, through conversations. The question is, are you letting weeds grow or are you planting greatness? Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed your mind negativity, don't be surprised when negativity grows in your life. If you feed your mind gossip, don't be surprised when drama follows you. If you feed your mind fear, don't be surprised when you live small. But if you feed your mind books, faith, mentors, positivity, you'll see growth, success, abundance. Guard your gates. Stop letting just anybody speak into your life. Stop letting toxic people dump their trash into your head. Stop letting the media program your fear. Be ruthless with protection. If it's not feeding your faith, cut it off. If it's not pushing you forward, shut it down. If it's not planting greatness, don't let it in. Because whatever you allow in your head will eventually show up in your habits. And whatever shows up in your habits will eventually define your destiny. All right, let's bring it home. You know the battlefield is your mind. You know you can't be a slave. You know pain is your trainer. You know focus is the superpower. You know you've got to guard your gates. Now, here's the blueprint to control your mind every single day in the morning. Get up early. Pray, meditate, or affirm. Don't let the first voice you hear be negativity. Talk back to your mind. When the weak voice shows up, answer with strength. Don't just listen. Talk back. Discipline daily. Do something hard every day. Train your brain to obey you. Protect your circle. Hang with lions, not sheep. Your environment shapes your mindset. Focus on one mission. Write it down, lock in. Don't stop until it's done. Embrace the pain. When it hurts, tell yourself, this is making me stronger. Final charge, family, if you can't control your mind, you'll always be a victim of circumstance. But if you master your mind, you become unstoppable. Your body will quit 1,000 times before your mind does. But if your mind is locked in, your body has no choice but to follow. So today, stop being the slave. Be the master. Stop running from pain. Use it as fuel. Stop scattering your focus. Lock it in. Stop letting weeds in your garden. Protect your gates. Because when you control your mind, you control your habits. When you control your habits, you control your character. And when you control your character, you control your destiny, control your mind, and you control your world. Thank you.